A trunk or treat family fun event is the perfect way to acknowledge the season, bring lots of people out for a family fun event that is great for just about every age and is actually super easy to plan. So I first started doing trunk or treats back when my kids were in lower elementary school, and it is a tradition that the school continues to have even today, even though my kids are both in high school or actually out of high school now. So my oldest is. And so it is such a fun event that I really enjoyed planning. That it's mostly a lot of prep work, but day of just a little bit of coordination, and it's pretty easy, all things considered. It can be a super budget friendly event for you to do that you do not have to carve out a lot of your PTO budget in order to make happen. So I would really strongly encourage you to give this event a try because it's just so fun. I mean, everyone's in a good mood and it is lovely. So here, let's talk about how to plan a trunk or treat if you've never done one, because you're going to see just how easy it is. So the very first thing you want to do is to pick a date and then pick up a backup date in case there's bad weather. Maybe it's going to be too cold or rainy. No one wants to be outside during the rain. So go ahead and pick up a backup date, a rain date right from the get-go. Next, you want to make sure that wherever you're having the event is going to be good for both cars that are decorated and passing out candy, as well as cars that are parking and participating just by collecting candy. So because you have two different parking needs. You have cars that are going to be stationary, and then you have cars that are going to be moving because they'll go through the whole, visit all the cars, chit chat with their friends, and then probably leave, and then more people will come in. That's been the experience that I've had for every trunk or treat that I've helped coordinate. So I think that's pretty fair to say that you should expect about the same thing. So an ideal setup is one where you have two separate and distinct parking lots so that you can minimize traffic issues or safety issues. Well, traffic and safety issues, because you certainly don't want any kid to be hit by a moving car unexpectedly. That would be a tragedy. But so do as much planning as you can to kind of avoid for that. So in my experience, we did not use our elementary school parking lot because it just was too small and it just wouldn't facilitate the event. So we went ahead and used the upper elementary school's parking lot because they had two separate parking lots that you could easily get to. One was on one side of the building, the other one was on the other side of the building, and it was great. Another time, I think the groups used the high school parking lots because, again, there was gym parking, parking really close to the one gym, and then as well, two other parking lots that were really in close proximity. So that made for a good location. So if your school grounds don't have enough room, see if you can meet at your city's municipal center and use their parking for the evening. In order to make the event a success, you're going to need enough cars passing out candy. If you only have 3 cars that are decorated passing out candy, that is not going to cut it. So you're going to want to get a handle on who is going to be participating in that way with a sign up. So you want to make a sign up form. I've just used Evite, actually. It was super easy to share. And so I had 2 ways to participate, I listed out in the invitation 2 ways to participate that people should indicate when they are RSVPing. Either have one invite for the same or do a separate invite for cars that are decorating and then have a link to the RSVP for just participating. This way it'll give you a good idea. It's not going to be a firm idea by any stretch of the imagination because things can change, plans can change at the last minute. So you might have additional families coming, some not, some choosing to do something else because they have a conflict, illness, whatever. It'll give you a ballpark, and that is a really good place to start so that you can buy extra candy, because usually most cars who come and decorate and have things to pass out, they underestimate how much candy needs to be on site for the event, because this is an event that really draws out a lot of families. So your PTO can supplement the cars and have it like a designated candy refill refiller. That's what we did one year. And it was really a nice way. I did it one year and I just got to go around and see the decorated cars and thank people for participating. And that was a nice way for our group to support the families by supplementing their candy. The next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and give your local police force a call and see if they will have extra police in the area, maybe invite them to participate. I know the very first year that we did this, we actually collaborated with other elementary schools in our district. And that is another tip. This is a great event to work with other groups in your district because there is only so many Friday nights or Saturdays that you can have a trunk or treat in the month of October that it actually makes sense. And two, if you're going to plan an event for one school, if you're going to plan an event like this for one school, it's negligible more work to do it for another school, but then you have more volunteers to help you plan and be on site the day of, right? So it can be really smart. So I highly encourage you to collaborate with other schools, even if they're not in your same district. It might be a nice way to work together and have families in the same community at an event together. But anyway, the very first time we were having this trunk or treat event, one of the principals at another school was super concerned about the safety because there's like all these urban legends about razors being put in candy and candy being poisoned. By the by, if you go to Snopes.com, you will see that that has never happened. It's just like an urban legend, and it is good to be mindful of safety, but that should not prevent us from doing fun things for our kids like this one, because there are ways to make it safe. So what we ended up doing was we called the police and said, hey, can you send a cruiser? And they showed up with candy the very first year, because police forces, especially now, are looking for positive ways to get involved in the community to where they're not always doing the police work, like the disciplinary work, if you know what I mean. So a family fun community event, just like a trunk or treat, is going to give them a fantastic opportunity, and they are going to want to be involved. So give it a try. The added benefit of having them there is that it just makes everybody feel better to know that there is extra security there. Another consideration that you're going to want to make for a trunk or treat event, especially if you have younger grades involved, ones that might need to use the potty more frequently, you're going to want to have a space where there's access to the bathroom. So if you are having it at your school, make sure that you get a permit to use the bathrooms inside or get permission from your principal, and for sure make sure the custodians know to have the building open so families can get in to go to the bathroom. It might also be a good idea, if you don't already, to get the phone number of the evening custodian so that you for sure can get in contact with them should they forget, or should the doors not be open when the agreement was for them to be open. The last thing you're going to need, another thing that you're going to need is someone to help direct traffic. So ideally, you're going to want to have anybody participating with the decorated car that's giving out candy, you're going to want them to get there way in advance so that there's time for them to be settled, and so that as few cars are moving when the kids arrive to collect the candy as possible. Because again, that's another thing that's just going to elevate the safety features of the evening. So you have people coming early who are going to decorate cars. And so you're going to want someone directing traffic essentially and saying, are you decorating a car and passing out candy? Go to parking lot A. If you are participating by collecting, go to parking lot B. So it makes it much easier if you have someone directing traffic rather than signs, because people will get confused and they might go to the wrong area. And the last thing you want is a collecting car driving around the designated area for the decorated and candy passing out cars, because that is just going to be added stress and commotion in the moment. So have a plan in advance to prevent that. The last thing you're going to want to make this event is a success and to make sure that you can have it again next year is to have a cleanup crew, because people will eat candy on site and kids are not always awesome at putting their wrappers in the trash can. So you're going to want to have a cleanup crew designated just to roam around the parking lots and pick up any extra wrappers. It's a best practice to always leave your space for a PTO event cleaner than you found it. That will ensure the custodians are one step closer to loving you forever, and there won't be any issues for having this event in the future because it kind of was left a mess and extra work was added to the custodian's to-do list. Before I go, I have a question for you. How do you feel about family costumes? Are they cringy or cute? My answer is it kind of depends, but I'm curious to hear what you think. So go ahead and drop your answer in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you have to think about this. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video about how to plan a trunk or treat event for your PTO or PTA. And more, I hope that you join me for my next video. Until then, take care. Want even more guidance on how to be a stronger leader so you can run a better PTO or PTA? All these resources and more are waiting for you at ptoanswers.com.